Hey everyone, I have just been having a little fun creating today in my 6-ring binder, and today I wanted to kind of make a flappy page that opens from top to bottom. So by that I mean we're going to have 2 flaps that come together and it will open from top to bottom like that, rather than usually I often go right to left. So for me this is something kind of new. But I don't want to see the paper that I just use scraps of. This is just a manila folder, and I don't want to really see that part. So I'm going to go ahead and cover that with my fun little glue stick. I'm going to give it a pretty heavy glue. I'll put this under me. Just because I really want those edges to stick down good. So I did a little of the prep work, but I didn't want to do it all because I wanted you to kind of see the process a little more on this. Now the important part to line up is up here, because this is the part that is going to be visible, and that's going to be the inside of the flap. So there's that one, and I did a pretty paper for the outside too. It's kind of a cuter one, and I'll go ahead and glue that down. And I made them a little longer than just the manila folder, just because I wanted the bend, when I bend it under and hide the edges, you'll see what I mean a little later on, but it'll keep those invisible so you won't see the edge of the page. So this is gonna actually be longer than where my fold is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and they're not perfect, and that's okay. They're pretty darn close enough for me. And you can go back through, trim stuff up if it's bugging you. That one might bug me right there. So I'm going to trim the top of that one off right there. All right, and then you know what to do. Give that a quick little ink. It's pretty thick, it's pretty heavy. I kind of wanted it that way because it's going to be like the main substance that's holding everything together once I get it all put together and embellished and decorated. So it'll be kind of fun. All right, we've kind of got that part done. Now I'm going to give it a nice good fold on the line I already created with my bone folder. So we're going to go ahead and really give that a good fold over with my bone folder. You don't need to worry about this because this is all going to be hidden later, but I'm just going to go ahead and give it an extra little glue down. But that will be hidden. Ooh, I love it. I love it when it gets all heavy and thick and sturdy. All right, so there's the bottom flap. Let's go ahead and work on this top flap. Same process. Yeah, that way. Just going to glue down my music that's going on the inside. Like so. Just stick that down. And we'll go ahead and put down one on that's going to be the outside. The only reason I know which is which is by the way that it folds. But if you fold it all later on, then either side can be the inside or outside. It's totally up to you. I could still change it if I change the direction of the fold. So no stress. And I'm not worried about that little extra white because again, it's going to be hidden when I put this page together. All right. Just like that. I'm okay with that because I'm just going to quickly ink it and you won't see it anyway. Fun, fun. That's quite a lot, and I might have to trim it. That one might bug me. And that's okay. There we go. Now I can come through and work on that if it's really bugging me later, because that side's sharper than the other, but that's okay for now. All right, go ahead and fold along that bone folded line. And then you know what we really need to do? We can't forget that bend. It kind of completes the look. All right, so that is gorgeous. Love it. Ooh, I can't wait to embellish this. All right, next step. This is just a page I took out of my 6-ring binder. So just a page just like this, only it didn't have a fold. It was just a simple, it's a very light cardstock. So I glued down paper on both sides, and then I realized, oh dear, because I'm gonna hide these flaps. So I just printed out another paper and I'll glue it down, and it'll be even a little thicker. Now, something to keep in mind when you're gluing this down is to not go over your little holes, because it's going to need to go in there. So this one will just slide right up to the edge of this. I could have cut this a little thinner if I wanted, but I kind of just wanted it to be a full page, kind of a surprise. So 2 ways to do this. I could stick these flaps hanging over the paper like this, and then use that extra paper I printed to then hide it from here so you can't see it. Or I could glue down the flaps right here, and don't worry about hiding it with paper, and just use your pretty music paper to do a fun little journaling spot or a pocket. You really could do either way, or again, then you could come in here and cover it with paper like that, so that it's this kind of a flap. And I'd rather do that than have it hanging over the edge, just because sometimes when it hangs over the edge, it tends to pop up a little more. So I think I'm going to glue these down like this on the inside of the page. But remember, this shorter one's going to be the one on top. So, and this one's going to be coming up from the bottom. So it'll be like that when we open it up. Super fun. So I'm going to go ahead and glue here, and I'm going to give it a pretty heavy glue. I hope you can see everything I'm doing, but I want to get close to those edges, and I want to give it a pretty thick glue, because this is a pretty bulky piece that you're holding down. And by the time I'm done embellishing it, it will probably be even a little bulkier. So I'm just going to give that a pretty substantial amount of glue, sticking that right there toward the edge and making sure that I'm lined up. Give that a nice good press down. Trying to steer clear of those holes on the edge. There we go. And that totally squirted out the sides, but that's okay. That means I've got a really good amount, which is what I was going for. So just clean that little bit up. And we'll go ahead and do that again with this bigger lower flap. And just kind of spreading that around. You don't need to make it super thick everywhere, but a good amount will help you out. So now let's make sure I'm still in frame there for you. Let me come right down to that bottom corner and glue that flap down. And again, I'm just kind of sneaking it over here, so I'm staying away from these holes right here where it's going to attach. And this should be stuck really good now. Ooh, it's so cute, you guys. All right, you see all my fun little mess. You guys would not believe what my house looks like right now. We tore out our kitchen because we're getting new cabinets. So right now, I feel like I'm kind of like camping. I'm permanently camping, and It's actually quite challenging, but we are doing it. We are doing it, and we're doing it with a good attitude. Well, at least we're trying. All right, so I think, gosh, it's kind of cute with the music showing. Oh, I'm gonna cover it. I wanna cover it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna glue this down, and then I'm gonna trim after it's glued down, just because that'll just help it be just perfect. I'll just use this scrap right here, so I'm not getting it on my table as much. Although I'll be the first to admit I go ahead and get it on the table all the time. It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's all okay. This is an area in your life where everything is okay. Because we all need some of that, right? Now, I probably should have trimmed a little off the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And that's okay if a little of the music is showing, but I don't want this paper getting bent in those crevices, in the creases there on the paper. So I'm just going to trim a little extra off so I don't even come close, because that'll just be a pain. But I do want that to come all the way over to that edge. And kind of press that down. All right. Awesome. Okay, we did pretty good. We don't have to trim too much off, but I'm gonna go ahead and trim that little extra. And now that I've done this part, I could go ahead and ink through here. Ooh, I'm actually catching both layers a little bit, but that's okay. It won't hurt anything. There we go. All right, quick ink. And now I will just grab my Crop-A-Dile. That's what I use to punch these little bit smaller holes. And I'll get that later, but I'll come in with my Crop-A-Dile and I'll re-punch those little spots right there that I missed. So this is kind of a fun, bulky kind of a page that I'm working with, which I kind of like to have a few of those chunkier pages. It's not too, like you'll see, I'll show you from the side. It's not really chunky or heavy, but it's got some substance to it. So, oh, do you know what I forgot to do, you guys? I forgot to put my string in. Oh, I always forget to put the string in. That's okay. We could probably get creative and do something cute like this. Oh, that would be cute. Would that work? No, because when I pull it up, it would come up. So that won't work. We'll get creative. It's okay. All right, so I just have this cute little string, and that's gonna be my kind of tie it all shut sort of string. What I normally do, oh, I can sneak it right in there. I can do it. Okay, I'm gonna sneak it right in this bottom. I'm gonna put a really good amount of glue right there. And I am going to just shove some of this string down in there. Normally I like to do this before. You can probably see why, but we're rolling with it today. Take pity on me. I don't have a kitchen. It's killing me. No, we're gonna survive. We're fighters. We can survive without a kitchen for a couple of weeks, right? All right, so we got plenty of glue in there. I'll let that dry for just a minute. And now I have this string coming up from the bottom, and it will attach to my cute little button here and just hold that shut. It's just an extra way to do an attachment. You can do them tons of different ways. I like this way. It's just kind of easy. Although I will say normally I wrap that string, I would glue pretty far back just to really secure it down. But that's okay. That's okay. That's my theme for the day. It's okay. It's all okay. We're gonna be okay. All right. So I made the cutest little, well, I think it's cute. All right. It's this cute little wooden circle, and it's meant to be, it has holes in it. You could leave the hole uncovered, but they're just wooden circles, and I embossed and just decorated it, and it's just fun. You could use a button. You could even use just paper that you've punched out that's nice and thick. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a button underneath it so that I have room to wrap my string, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I'm gonna first put my button down, and I'm not too stressed about making it perfectly centered, but I want it a little higher up on here because this is a little bit bigger and I don't want that like hanging off the edge. So I'm gonna put it up there. I'm gonna let that have a real good dry, and then I'm gonna put a good amount of glue right there on top, and I'm gonna set this right where I want it. And I think I just want that hole up on the top, like so. I'm gonna just set that on there and make sure that I have kind of centered that on the button so that there's room all the way around. There we go. Hopefully you can. All right, now I'm gonna let that dry for just a minute because I did put the glue on pretty thick. So I'm gonna give that a good dry. Now I cut my string pretty long. And you know, you have these where people have one up here and one down here, and they just go like kind of a figure 8 on both. You can do it that way. I do it that way sometimes. I just wanted to try this method for this and just thought it would be kind of fun. So do it how you want. Plus I didn't have 2 of these cute things, so I just thought, oh, I really want to use that, so I made a way to make that happen. All right, so I'm going to work on embellishing this later. It's just not going to happen right now because I'm going to let this stuff dry for a minute, but it will give you an idea of the construction of this. So this will just go right here inside your cute little binder, right in here. And then when people open the binder, they'll be able to open this, and there's going to be some fun surprises tucked in here later on after we get this embellished. But that will give you an idea of the construction and hopefully a fun new way to make those little side flippies. But this will come up and I'll just wrap it 3 or 4 times and then just let this extra string, I'll cut it back to probably, hereabouts. And that extra string will just dangle down. But I just don't want to put it on while this is still drying. So anyway, that's the idea behind it. I think it'll be really fun. And when I embellish it, I could even have another page that flaps out on this side right here. That would be really cute too. So possibilities are endless. I'm excited to get this decorated, but we'll stop here for now and we'll keep going on it later while we let this dry. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoy cooking in your kitchens. Talk later. Bye.